Lloyd Evans, writing in The Spectator, or The Sextator as it should be called, under the headline, My Surprisingly Decent Proposal. It begins like this: like being chained to a lunatic. That's how a man feels in relation to his libido. And the lunatic latches on to anything, irrationally and without warning. In Cambridge recently, I dropped into a lecture given by a beautiful historian, Leia Yippee from Albania, whose discourse included the observation about revolutionaries. Once they attain power, they lose all interest in revolution. Good point. Her blonde hair spilling over her shoulders absorbed far more of my attention than her political reflections, and I was desperate to speak to her afterwards, but I had no way to orchestrate a meeting. I'm going to say I don't think you should name check the woman who inspired you to get
No.
your shit jacked off at
No.
a sort of hand job parlor. I don't think you should put her on blast.
Yeah. Even if you just acknowledge it, and I didn't know what to do because I have no fucking game.
Yeah, it's just sort of like, I don't think you need to write an article about like, I met the most gorgeous, intelligent, and stunning woman the other day. I tried to strike up a conversation with her, but instead I simply went home and beat off my shit furiously, imagining sexual congress with her. And then
Really?
just like naming that person seems a little bit rude to me, but this guy is British, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So he says, I was desperate to speak to her afterwards, but I had no way to orchestrate a meeting. Instead, I headed for the rougher end of Cambridge, near the railway terminus where misfits and outcasts gather. Is there a rough part of Cambridge? This is where they steal your lunch money if you walk if you walk after hours. So it goes here. I'd already arranged a social rendezvous at a private business location. Here's how it works. You hand over a roll of banknotes to a concierge at a desk who ushers you into a softly lit room where your companion awaits you. Mine was petite, black-haired, and buxom. Shea, she called herself. She looked Chinese rather
Shea
than Irish.
David? No wonder
He's all over the
trying.
place.
Yeah, this guy works all nonstop.
I mean, they're probably both from, have connections to Moldova.
It says here, yeah, Shea, she called herself. She looked Chinese rather than Irish, but you never know these days, so I asked her which part of Ireland she came from. Shanghai, she told me. I lay naked on the couch and she rubbed hot wax into my shoulders, a ritual that gives these assignations an air of medical respectability. A moment later, she ordered me to flip on my back as she dimmed the lights and raised one eyebrow at me suggestively. This was the cue for negotiations. The money at the desk stays at the desk, and Shay made a separate deal with the client. Her opening bid was the same as the cost of my overnight hotel, so I made a lower offer, £20 less. She accepted it. Then
You're haggling?
He's haggling with a prostitute.
Well, that is, I'm sorry. That's incredibly rude. What we figured out this far is this man has absolutely no manners.
It reminds me of was it like Winston Churchill was like one of his famous quips was like, asking a woman, would you have sex with me for $5? And she said, my God, no. And then she was like, how about £1 million? And she was like, And then he's like, well, we've already determined your status, ma'am. We are merely quibbling on the price. This is like the reversed version of that.
Did Winston Churchill say that, or is that like Tucker Max?
It's
like that sounds like it's from like a Dane Cook movie.
Yeah, it's attributed to him.
Also, come on. A one-off for $1 million does not a prostitute make.
Yeah.
That's not a pro. That's a fucking year. That's a semester abroad.
That's just someone with good business mindset. This is he's haggling with the woman who's going to rub him off. So he offers £20 less. She accepted it. Then a crisis emerged. I'd surrendered most of my cash and I was down to one measly $5. Not enough. And I just forfeited my ATM card to a greedy machine that gobbled it up. As for my uncooperative iPhone, I've never convinced it to pay for anything. I offered to fetch my laptop from my hotel and to transfer the money when I got back. This guy is down bad. This guy is down abysmally. This is insane.
You're trying to get a fucking
I'm going to take an hour
trip. and then you're Googling how send PDF. Like, I don't understand how you don't prepare for this situation. There's got to be something in a Rick Steves guide or something.
Has anyone like had the ATM eat their card since 1984?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't even heard of that happening to anyone except this guy.
I mean, I think he probably does this often. I think he probably goes to massage parlors and pulls the old "my ATM card was eaten. Can you accept these coupons in exchange for your services?" Yeah, he probably does this all the time. This is probably, and he's like, "Oh, I'd be happy to take an hour trip back to my hotel room." Yeah,
He comes and dashes. He's a come and dash. Yeah.
yeah. But it says here, I offered to fetch my laptop from my hotel and to transfer the money when I got back. What he's gonna do? Can I get your routing number, madam, to do a wire transfer to your bank account?
That is dine and dash fucking like behavior. There is no way this woman is that fucking dumb. I bet there's got to be 50 million Reddits on this. There's no way he came in unprepared. This is just his way of being a cheap bastard.
Yeah, like if you're like not only horny enough, but like you clearly don't feel any shame about this. Like I would think that like a big part of doing this is that you like at least feel bad, but he doesn't even feel bad enough to not haggle. But like I would think at least if you were this into it, you would come with the cash that you need.
Yeah, well, he's treating it like he's a jolly flaneur. He basically did it for the boring think piece.
Did the Spectator reimburse him? That's what I want to know. Did he submit an invoice to his editor at the Spectre for one rub and tug, sir? So it says here, but Shea didn't like that idea. She refused to let me leave. Yeah, I'll fucking bet.
She didn't like that idea.
Yeah. Fearing that my lucrative custom might slip through her fingers. This struck me as bizarre. Where else would I go? I couldn't imagine a better pastime than a brisk workout with the lovely Shay, who was about 48 years old. He's saying how old she is in this, too. Jesus Christ, this guy has no shame and is just I
also hate, calling it a workout is like kind of betraying what a sedentary slug you are. Like, look, I burned 5 calories fucking coming in my own eye. That's my workout for the day.
Yeah, it's like the only thing that can make jacking off even more of a passive activity.
Yeah. It's using someone else's hand.
You're not even getting any arm work.
Yeah.
So
what are this guy? What other articles is this guy written?
Okay, all right.
I'm just stuff like this.
Okay, I'm clicking on his profile at the Spectator. This is the Lloyd Evans archives. Player Kings proves that Shakespeare can be funny. Rishi gets witty at PMQs. Why is the National engaged in this tedious act of defamation of the Brontes? Exhilarating. MJ the musical reviewed.
That's the fucking thing he's trying. I was absolutely right. He's trying to position himself as like a sophisticate, like he's a flaneur about town. He's getting jerked off on the Algonquin Round Table.
I know. If he wanted to be like the leading lights of like 19th century European literature, he should get tertiary syphilis and then slit his own throat, like many of the greats did. Guy de Maupassant. He goes, okay. So he says, Shea, who was about 48 years old, still can't believe he's including that detail. I would guess, so he's guessing. I would guess, and had a crooked smile, which I find far more attractive than those ultra white Hollywood teeth that look like pieces of Lego. So he's saying she's 48 years old and has bad teeth. This is how he feels about this woman. At her suggestion, we went ahead anyway, and the issue of payment was left unresolved. I appreciated that. She trusted me. As we got dressed afterwards, she complimented me on my old walking shoes. Thank you, I said, feeling baffled that she'd chosen to praise my sorry-looking boots rather than my lean and toned physique. Then she turned shyly towards me with her...
Yeah, that was baffling, sir. I was baffled.
Then she turned shyly toward me with her pale tummy exposed. I'm fat, she said mournfully. I sprang instantly to reassure her. Not fat, beautiful, I said, smoothing my palm tenderly across her stomach. Lovely, pretty, gorgeous, I added, spraying out synonyms in the hopes of finding a word that lay within the compass of her understanding. He's talking to her like a fucking, she's
like a dumb baby.
Tummy good, girl, beautiful. This is like the Israeli political parties.
No, this is like the conversations between Swearingen and Mr. Wu.
San Francisco, Cambridge cocksucker.
Yeah, glad I taught you that fucking word.
Yeah.
You know what? I still think he has a terrible physique. I think this is complete bullshit. The fact that he's too lazy to jerk off his own shit. He's like, why didn't she compliment my physique? I bet he's one of those guys who's like either really, really stringy British, or like just fat that he insists is muscle. And she's just trying to find a way to compliment something. Just like, I gotta find something that sounds nice. And you know what? The reason she probably let you do it and decided you weren't going to dine and dash is because she thought she could outrun you.
have to make this guy's little eel throw up. Ugh, disgusting. Continuing on, it says, she seems satisfied. As we padded about, tugging our clothes back on, I realized we were like a long married couple observing the conventions of mutual respect and cooperation.
Oh,
We'd known each other for 17 minutes. Yeah. We'd known each other for 17 minutes, and yet the grooves of domestic harmony, so etched into the human character, brought our disunited interests together and gave our small talk an ease and familiarity. Back in 10 minutes, I told her...
If you are like the couple from Monty Python's Meaning of Life, the Protestant one.
Yeah. I could use a French tickler anytime I want. So it says here, she might have been any suburban housewife en route to play bridge or hear a performance by an amateur Handel society. She was surprised to see me, which I found disheartening. She thought I was a swindler. I opened my laptop and asked her to put her bank deals into my Santander account on the new payee page. She spelled her name XE, as it turned out, and her second name had just 3 letters. Her sort code and her reference details indicated that she held a bank account with HSBC. Yeah, like he's just like he's just like giving her account number. He's one step away from giving her fucking bank number.
We know her age, what she looks like, how long she has been with HSBC, her real name. Like,
but it's all just like, that's not the information. He's like, well, I have to name details, and like, first it's just like dumb bitch fucking like amateur Handel society. By the way, I've included her fingerprints at the bottom of this article.
And by the way, the name of her first pet was Sandy, and her least favorite subject in her grade school was arithmetic. So this here, I invited her to type in the fee that I owed, and she'd entered the lowered amount with the 20-pound discount. I gallantly deleted this and offered the larger sum she had initially quoted. She giggled and stroked my elbow affectionately. The casual caress made me feel heroic and magnificent for some reason. One last detail was needed. Payment reference. I suggested fun, but Shea had other ideas. Wedding gifts, she said, laughing, rubbing my shoulder again. Was this a marriage proposal? Sort of, yes, but I pretended she'd just made a throwaway joke. My bank approved the payment, and she smiled as I headed for the door. See you next time, she said. I'd like that, I said. No doubt she spoke insincerely, but I didn't. I meant it privately, secretly. The lunatic I'm chained to is invisible, thank God.
Gallantly. He said he gallantly didn't stiff the hooker. Like, yes, oh, so gallant. And it's like, yeah, she gave you a fucking discount because she wanted a repeat customer.